is one of my favourite raw soups. It's spicy tomato soup, and it's got longer recipe lists than a lot of my recipes, but the flavours are so divine. It makes it worth that little bit of extra kind of shopping, if you like. So we've got 3 tomatoes, which, you know, you can just chuck straight into the blender whole, like this Blendtec blender. But I tend to just chop them up a little bit just to give it a bit of a helping hand. All my recipes you can do with a hand blender. You don't need a fancy blender like this. It's just that, you know, once you know that you want to eat raw food long term, then getting a high-speed blender just makes eating raw so easy and so quick. There's no reason not to. I tend to eat this soup with a slice of toast. These days I'm gluten-free, so I actually make my own gluten-free bread. And sometimes, I mean, it's quite filling, so you might find that you don't actually need toast with it. It's not necessary at all. You're putting in 3 tomatoes, half a clove of garlic. Sorry, that was the ginger that I put in. It's about 1 centimetre of ginger. You can put in more or less ginger depending on how spicy you like it. And then we've got a medjool date, which just brings out the lovely sweetness of the tomatoes. Don't forget to take the stone out. I've done that in the past and it ruins your soup. Then we're going to do a handful of fresh coriander. And when I say a handful, you know, generally when I use handfuls in my recipes, I'm not feeling too particular about what size it is. It's like up to you. You can do a really fat handful, you can do a handful like that. It's not absolutely specific how much you have to put in. So then we've got some lovely celery, just to really give it that lovely savoury flavour. And then fresh chilli. Depending on how spicy you like things, you can put in more or less chilli. I tend to put in maybe about 1 inch of chilli. On a smaller red chilli, that would be half. On one of these, it's more like 1/4. Again, you can de-seed it if you don't like it too spicy. The hottest bit of the chilli is the seeds on the inside, but also the vein that it's attached to in the middle. So if you want to get more of the spice out, make sure you take the vein out as well. We're putting in an avocado, and this, for me, is the kind of pièce de résistance of raw soups, because the avocados give it that lovely, rich creaminess. And you can literally just, if it's a ripe avocado, you can literally just squeeze it in and it'll come out of its skin. So then we're going to put in some lemon juice. And again, you know, you'll know from if you've ever cooked tomato dishes that quite often you'll put in a bit of sour and a bit of sweet to bring out the flavour of the tomato, which is exactly what we're doing here. So we're just going to put in 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, of fresh lemon juice. You always want to be using fresh lemon juice if you can. Those bottled kinds that you can buy in the supermarket are all pasteurised, so avoid those if you can. And then we're going to put in a teaspoon of salt. You might find this too much salt. I kind of really like my soups to be quite kind of full-bodied, and really the difference between a savoury smoothie and a soup is the salt that you put into it. So I've got a boiled kettle of water here, and I've got 100 millilitres of cold water in my jug, and I'm going to make it up to 300 millilitres with my hot water. So that's a total of 300 millilitres, 100 millilitres of cold water and 200 millilitres of boiled water from the kettle. And the reason you're doing that is you don't want to put it in boiling because it'll cook your food. So that little bit of cold water takes the edge off the heat and means that your soup stays raw but is also warm. So when I boil the kettle, I also pour water into my bowl to heat it, because you want to keep as much of the warmth in your soup as possible. It's not a hot soup, it's a warm soup. So if you put a warm soup into a cold bowl, it'll suck the heat out of the soup, so it'll end up being a cold soup. until it's really smooth and creamy. It's delicious. Now this recipe makes a lot of tomato soup, so you may well find that you don't need anything else with it. I will have a massive bowl of soup like this without any toast, and it fills me up for hours. So yeah, you don't need to have anything else with it, but you might find that you want a bit of that cooked comfort. So you can drizzle a bit of olive oil on. I tend to do that just because it looks pretty. So let me find my olive oil. And you literally just giving it a little fine bit of drizzle, and it makes it look really pretty. And again, if you want to, you can decorate it with a bit of coriander, a few sprigs of coriander leaves, just to make it look that little bit more special if you want to serve it up to people. So I'm going to try this now. Delicious.